Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today I'm doing a video by request. I'm doing first impressions with the Kaleidos Escape Pod palette. The Escape Pod palette is an older palette. It came out I think several years ago now at this point from Kaleidos, but I've never used it and I have it. So I created this eye look today, just something a little pastel casual. I really do like it. I think it looks nice. I like the ethereal lightness of it. And yeah, if you would like to see this palette in action, kind of hear my first thoughts, or just hang out, keep on watching. Before we get too far into the video, if you haven't already, I would love it if you consider subscribing. I upload 2 videos a week. It's totally free to subscribe, and I would love to have you back on the channel again. All right, let's go ahead and get into my first impressions on this palette and this lovely look. All right, so here is the outer packaging if you haven't seen it before. And I believe this is their like newer, slimmer packaging if you have the original, but really cool artwork. It's like that on the back. I think it looks really cool. The only eyeshadow palettes I've tried from Kaleidos are, of course, Club Nebula, my favorite that I've ever tried from them, and the Lunar Lavender Little Futurism palette. So I'm really excited to try another of their like kind of bigger size palettes and see how it goes. So far I've liked stuff I've tried from Kaleidos. I like their highlighters, I like their lip clay things, so we'll see. I'm going to start with an Ace Beauté brush and go into Lo-Fi, which is just like your basic kind of cream colored like transition shade if you are my skin tone at least, which I personally do like to set my eyeshadow base with a color like this before I go in with everything else. For me personally, I just feel it helps me to blend things a little bit easier. And of course I have a lot of my base makeup and things done, so if you're interested in knowing anything else I'm wearing, just look in the description box. I'll have it all listed down there. Next, I'm going to go in with Bossa Nova, which is kind of like this cool tone brown. This palette, you hear that? It is rather squeaky for some reason. I don't know what's up with that. Something with the packaging is, I don't know if it's plasticky or what, but that's different for sure. I don't know if I said I'm using the same brush and just putting this in the crease pretty much exactly where I put that first shade that I used to set the eyeshadow primer with. I always use eyeshadow primer with every single eyeshadow I use, so there's nothing like unusual or bad about this formula that I need it. I just have oily lids and it helps it not to crease and to last a bit longer on me. All right, next I'm going to go in with a Morphe M456 and I'm going to use Terrace, this brown, which I think is probably the deepest shade in the palette, honestly. And I am going to go on the outer lash line with this color. Start doing my signature eye shape. I know you guys are probably so sick if you watch my videos of me doing similar shapes, but I like what I like and I feel like that's what works for my face structure, so I try to keep it interesting with just different colors and textures and things. But of course, do whatever eye shape works for you. If you find what looks the best on you, why would you not do the thing that looks the best on you? You know, that makes no sense otherwise. Good pigmentation on this matte so far. They're a little powdery, but that's just fine as long as you know that and you tap off the excess in the pan. I'm wearing kind of a purpley and yellow shirt today, so I'm going to pick the purple that kind of matches my shirt, which is Soiree, this more like, I don't know if I'd call it cool toned purple, and I'm using the same exact Morphe brush, and I'm going to place that kind of above the brown that I put down. It's kind of giving like a pastel vibe on the lid that I'm not minding. And I'm taking that all the way up to the crease. And then on what's left, I'm going to use a flat brush. This one's a Laura Lee Los Angeles L27. And I'm going to put Space Oasis, which kind of looks like a pinky to purple duochrome there. I'm not using a glitter primer. See how that goes and if I stand by that decision or not. I don't feel like the shimmers in Club Nebula need a glitter primer, but it's honestly been a minute since I used them, so I can't remember for sure. It does look like you can build it in layers to get it a little bit more. This purple reminds me kind of one in the Lunar Lavender palette, if I'm being honest, like a shade I might already have or something darn near close. I definitely think this would pop with some glitter primer, so in the future, or if you have this palette, I'd recommend a little glitter primer just to help it have a little more opacity, a little more of a pop. It's a bit more demure on its own, in my opinion, which nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I want a demure moment. Like sometimes I don't want it to be seen from outer space, but usually I do, let's be honest. That's nice, right? A little purpley moment. I feel like I haven't done purple in a while. And then I'm going to take from Ace Beauté a little P4 brush, and I'm going to use Starlight Sonata, this kind of like goldy champagne looking one. I'm going to use that in the inner corner. That's a pretty one. You could definitely do a neutral look with some of these browns and then just put that champagne there. Or like Amaretto, this kind of like peachy champagne duochrome. But I wanted a little pop of color today. Nothing, like it's not intense. Like I said, it's more pastel, so I feel like it's definitely wearable. I don't think it's as intense on the eye as it is in pan, which in this case I like, but that might turn you off if you want it to show up exactly as intense as it is in pan. At least that shade did not. Obviously, this is just like a first impressions. Shout out for the request on this palette if you haven't seen it yet. This was one of the palettes I had in my episode 1 or part 1 pile of shame palettes I bought but never used, and one of you said that you would like to see it in action, so thank you so much for the request. I know there was another request to do the Kaleidos, is it Flower Punk, is that what it's called? I think I'm gonna have Wesley do, because we never did our 500 subscriber video, I think he's gonna do another voiceover. He's done it once before, and you guys really loved it. I've had people ask me for him to do another one, so I think I'm gonna do a look with that one and have that be the 500 subscriber voiceover that he does. Let me know what you think about that. I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of brown liquid liner here, because I feel like I don't have a lot of depth on the lash line. I'm using this older Wet n Wild liquid eyeliner just to try to use it up, and I'm not a fan. I feel like I get like no control with this brush and just make like the crappiest wings in the world, but it is what it is. I wouldn't recommend this, but I'm trying to be good about not buying new things if you haven't been around on the channel for a while, so I'm just using what I got regardless of the quality of it per se. I do also have, I should have used this one from Black Magic. It's the Cocoa Edit liquid eyeliner in shade, what is this? Is Cocoa Butter the Cocoa Edit the shade maybe? Maybe that's the shade name, I don't know. This one's really good, like very precise, and has a nice like brush tip. I don't like felt tips. This is too flimsy and just like cheap. I don't think it works very well, but here we are with the wing. I'm gonna add a little mascara, curl my lashes as I do. Where's my curler? I don't know. I'll find it and I'll be back. Alright, so I threw on some mascara. I think this look would look really pretty with some like fluttery, wispy lashes, but I am running late to dinner with my parents, so we're skipping that today. I put on the Melt Everyday Matte Lip Liner in Foxy. Thought a brown lip would look good with this. And just to keep it Kaleidos, I'm gonna go in with the highlighter in Moon Crusher, which is a little blue, but I think purple and blue, you know, especially with the duochrome, it'll look good together. And I'm actually gonna use the Kaleidos H2 Precision Highlighter brush. I think this brush works way better than any others on their highlighter formula. Personally, it's just a lot denser. And this does have some pink reflect in it too, but I think it'll give it that like purpley between the blue and the pink. It'll make it look a little purpley to match the eye look. I love these highlighters. They're so iridescent and glowy looking on the skin without being too glittery, and for my combo skin people like me, without being anything that like will pick up on your texture if you have a lot of texture on your cheeks like I do. That looks so pretty. Love the highlighter. All right, so let me zoom out a little bit here and kind of tell you my first impression, first thoughts of the palette, just doing one look very quickly here today. All right, so here is the final, just quick little casual look with the Escape Pod palette from Kaleidos. I had a great time with the mattes. Like I said when I was doing the look, the shimmers, they don't seem to have a lot of impact. I would use glitter glue, I think, in the future to get a little more pop, but it is nice if you just want a light look. I believe this palette came out before Club Nebula, and I think they've really even improved on their shimmer formula since then, so that might be part of it, but it's not bad. I'm not mad that I have it. In fact, I think I'm going to keep this one out because I do want to do some more like spring pastel looks, and there might be some of these other shades like this coral that maybe come off the same way, like they look brighter in the pan than they are in the eye. That might be good for spring. And then for summer, you know, there's some really like very fluorescent poppy looking colors, so I'll be curious to know the squeak. The squeak gets me still. That's kind of weird. But I'll be curious to see what those fluorescent colors, like, are they actually going to pop and have that pigment, or are they going to blend out to be a bit more soft, kind of like this look was? Let me know if you have this palette and what your experience has been. This is still for sale. It wasn't limited edition or anything, so if you want to pick it up, yeah, I think it's nice. It's not like knock your socks off the best thing I've ever used, but I absolutely enjoyed it, and I'm glad I have it, and it's not bad by any means. So yeah, that's kind of my first thoughts. If you want to see more looks with it, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to do more, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye!